This is Del from Spartan Racing. Welcome back to the channel, and I just wanted to show another piece of hardware that I've added to the sim rig. As you can see, I have the Z1 Pro X Dash from HRS in Australia. I'd like to thank Brett for all his help getting this organised for me. I did purchase this. This is not a sponsorship by any means. It is something I've been looking at for quite a while, and now that I've gone with triple screens rather than VR, I get to enjoy more the things that are more visual in front of me. Like, for instance, all my button boxes, instead of running these off muscle memory, now I can actually see what buttons I'm pressing, what knobs I'm turning, and to be able to use a dash like this just adds that little extra level of immersion for me. It is a really remarkable piece of hardware. So if you're thinking of looking at one of these, I can highly recommend this dash. We'll have a little bit of a closer look at it and see what you guys think of it and give you my thoughts. So as you can see, it is mounted to my DD2, and I also have the DSD button boxes mounted on there as well. So I neglected to mention that to Brett from HRS that I had those mounts. So the bolts that came supplied to mount this on were a little bit short, but that was fine. I just went and purchased some 25mm bolt, M6 bolts that were countersunk, and that allowed me to mount with the billet aluminium mount and the DD and the DSD button boxes onto my Fanatec DD2. So everything mounted up really, really well. When you first plug it in, it's one cable which goes directly into a USB 3 port. You first put it on, you're presented with the HRS logo. So what I'm going to do now is just start up the Z1 software, and we'll have a quick look at that. Okay, so this is the screen that you're presented when you load the Z1 dashboard. You have the word waiting for connection, which is also flashing up in the same screen that's actually on your dash. And if you go into the settings, goes here, as you can see, there is just a mountain of things that can be changed. I'm not going to go into everything because I really haven't taken a deep dive into this. I've only had this dash running for about a week or so, and I've just set it up to suit what I want to do. So I've left pretty much everything the same, except changing everything from miles an hour to kilometers an hour. Being in Australia, obviously that's what we run with. Litres, kPa and bar, Celsius and meters. Everything else I've left pretty well as default. Again, I haven't changed anything in the display section here, other than changing the LED default LEDs to all left to right, 65 to 98%. I found that this actually matches the LEDs on my Fanatec Formula 1 wheel. I haven't changed nothing in the track map setup. That is all the default colors, seem to work well. Didn't see any reason to change it. Again, haven't really changed anything in here as well. This has a number of sims that you can choose. So I use Assetto Corsa, Competizione and iRacing and R-Factor 2. So it does pick up depending on what sim you're running. Nothing has changed. I'm not going through and making any major changes in any of this, because if anything happens, I just don't want to be able to. I want to be able to find out and get back to things as easily as possible. So I've kind of been running as much on default as possible. This is the main screen I've actually been working in, which is the choice of dashes. So as you can see, there is just a mountain of dashes that you can choose from, and within the default dashes, or the dashes that you can pick, I'm using the GT3-2 for Assetto Corsa Competizione, and you have a choice of 6 screens. You can actually add up to 10 screens, so you can actually add another 4 screens if you wish. I find 6 is enough. It does give me my main dash screen, my track map with a relative driver position, my timing and scoring, my tyres showing me my temperatures and my wear rates depending on my camber, as well as tyre pressures. Information if I'm changing anything, like for instance if I'm changing any of the brake bias or I'm changing any of the engine mapping or the ABS, they show up here. And then I've just left this default messaging go on to show my average fuel and fuel remaining and what my best stint is. I haven't changed this. You can add in some information here if you want a pit message to go in there. You can just type that in. Where is that? You can type that you can type a message in here and it will show up what you want to see there. The shift lights, as you can see, like I said, 65 to 98. I do assign that to all of the screens. And the other one is the external LEDs that surround around the actual screen on the dash. Now, there are 100 levels of brightness within the dash. I've been through a few. When I first turned it on, it was at default 100 and it nearly sent me blind. It was so bright. I've actually figured out that the right brightness for me is actually level 2. These LEDs are really powerful. And I just added the side LEDs to the top ones being to warn me of a yellow flag, the middle ones to warn me of any blue flags with the, of course, a lot faster drivers than me, and just a flashing pit limiter. So the other thing you can do is the yellow flag. If I want to go to the blue flag, I can change this to blue. And I have them showing up on both sides. You can have alternates on there. And my pit limiter, let's just make that red. There we go. So now that's set up so that they'll flash red at the bottom when I've got the pit limiter going. The blue lights will come on for the blue flag and the yellow lights for the yellow flag. Also with the pit limiter, when you go into the dash, it'll flash across the lights at the top. They'll be flashing on and off as well. There's some quite a number of other settings that are available here. As you can see, it does support quite a number of sims. I'll just change that to AC Competition, so that's embedded in there. You've got the choice of all the Formula One that you want and the project cars. What I have done is I've mapped 2 buttons on my wheel, so that I can change screens just from the buttons on the wheel, and there is a number of options that you have here to be able to change and map buttons to if you wish. As you can see, there's quite a lot. There's some speech options where you'll get feedback through your headset, showing things like lap times, lap deltas, fastest laps, positions, laps of fuel when you need to pit, and that is a sort of a computer generated voice. There's also, you can also set up so that it does announce what gear you're in. I did actually turn that off because as cool as it is to start, I did find it a little bit annoying, so I did turn that off. So once you set up this to how you want, you just OK it, and then you start your sim, and you'll get to see how this sits and how I've got it positioned and it in operation. So here we are in ACC with the dashboard operating. The flashing is because I'm sitting in the pits, so it's letting me know that I'm just about ready to roll. So let's just do a slow drive out, and it's going to be slow because it's Spa and the pit lane is longer than my drive to work. As you can see, the lights are probably, I don't know how they're coming through on the camera, but they're probably bright enough for what you're seeing, the LED lights across the top. So that's why I dropped the intensity of them. They were just way too bright when you're sitting right in front of them. Okay, so now that we're heading out in the track, now I don't have any sound on at the moment. I'm just recording this off my phone. So I normally have the sound coming through my headset. So as you can see, the lights match up with my lights on my wheel. Now I can easily change screens, showing my relative and the track map, some timing information, and my tyre pressures and tyre wear, my adjustment screen, and you can see if I make any adjustments to my brake bias, it comes up. If I make adjustments to my traction control, that shows up as well. My ABS, and what it does is it actually shows up in this adjustment screen for me, so I can keep an eye on that. I've got another screen which tells me how much fuel I'm using, my average fuel per laps, what my stints are like, and then I just can go back to the main screen. So as you can see, it's pretty intuitive, very easy to change around from the screens once you map a button, and it gives you everything you probably need that's on the dash of the actual sim. Now, one of the reasons I did kind of go for this is because when you're trying to get the right viewing distances and field of view through the front screen, with a 27-inch monitor being a little shorter, I sometimes cut off some of the dashes that are built into the cars in the sim, and with this I can position this and still have all that information right in front of me. So this was part of the reason, and the other reason was I just really liked it, and now that I'm not in VR and on screens, I wanted something just to give me access and more, I guess immersion would be a word that I would use. I've got the ability now to be able to see all my buttons and my wheel without running off muscle memory, and now with the dash here I've got all the information at my fingertips as well. So if you're on the fence about getting one of these, I think they're fantastic, and I strongly suggest that you have a look at, maybe diving into something if it's something you have been considering. It's a really easy fit up, really easy connection, one cable down to the USB 3 in your computer, and the Z1 software, just install it and away you go. I had a little bit of a mishap with the installation in the early day when I first got it, partially my fault, but Brett from HRS was on the phone to me getting this sorted out. I mean, the guy was on the phone to me at about 10 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve. So his support is just sublime. You just can't beat it. They really go out of the way to make sure that they support their customers and do everything right for you. So, really support these guys because they really support the community. And Russell from Z1 has been amazing. Well, he's released a couple of updates even just in the week or so that I've had this, which has added a few extra features and made the work and the things that I want to do inside the software a lot easier. So overall, very happy with this. Not everybody likes going for this type of color. I did. There's plenty of color options, beautifully made, really well built. So like I said to you, it's up to you, but if you've been looking at one of these, then I can strongly recommend how good they are. Anyway, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who supported the channel this year. It's been a really tough year for everybody. I hope everybody stays safe and well, and look after each other. Happy New Year to you all, and let's hope 2021 can be a bit better. And thank you again. If you're looking at the videos, please subscribe, it really helps. And I'll see you in the new year. Bye.